Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19, titled King Ayati Achieves Liberation, from text 1 to 12. Text 1. Sukadev Goswami said, O Maharaj Parikshit, Yayati was very much attached to women. In due course of time, however, when disgusted with sexual enjoyment and its bad effects, he renounced this way of life and narrated the following story to his beloved wife. Text 2. My dearly beloved wife, daughter of Sukracharya, in this world there was someone exactly like me. Please listen as I narrate the history of his life. By hearing about the life of such a householder, those who have retired from householder life always lament. Text 3. While wandering in the forest, eating to satisfy his senses, a he-goat by chance approached a well, in which he saw a sea-goat standing helplessly, having fallen into it by the influence of the results of the fruitive activities. Text 4. After planning how to get the sea-goat out of the well, the lusty he-goat dug up the earth on the well's edge with the point of his horns in such a way that she was able to come out very easily. Text 5 and 6. When the sea goat, who had very nice hips, got out of the well and saw the very handsome he goat, she desired to accept him as her husband. When she did so, many other sea goats also desired him as their husband, because he had a very beautiful bodily structure and a nice mustache and beard, and was expert in discharging semen and in the art of sexual intercourse. Therefore, just as a person haunted by a ghost exhibits madness, the best of the he goats, attracted by the many sea goats, engaged in erotic activities and naturally forgot his real business of self realization. Text 7. When the sea goat who had fallen into the well saw her beloved goat engaged in sexual affairs with another sea goat, she could not tolerate the goat's activities. Text 8. Aggrieved by her husband's behavior with another, the sea goat thought that the he goat was not actually her friend, but was hard hearted and was her friend only for the time being. Therefore, became her husband. Because her husband was lusty, she left him and returned to her former maintainer. Text 9. Being very sorry, the he goat, who was subservient to his wife, followed the sea goat on the road and tried his best to flatter her, but he could not pacify her. Text 10. The sea goat went to the residence of a Brahmana who was the maintainer of another sea goat, and that Brahmana angrily cut off the sea goat's dangling testicles. But at the he goat's request, the Brahmana later rejoined them by the power of mystic yoga. Text 11. My dear wife, when the he goat had his testicles restored, he enjoyed the sea goat he had gotten from the well, but although he continued to enjoy for many, many years, even now he has not been fully satisfied. Text 12. O my Dear wife with beautiful eyebrows, I'm exactly like that he goat, for I am so poor in intelligence that I'm captivated by your beauty and have forgotten the real task of self realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Acharya Prabhuji. Today class will be given by the SundarAnanda Prabhuji. He'll be joining in like a few minutes. He's in another class, so let's all wait for him. Thank you, everybody. If you all are fine, we can chant till the Prabhuji is doing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare
Sorry, we
Krishna.
got a little late. Yeah.
Please take over the contribution. Please accept our humble
Hare
obeisances,
Krishna
all the
Mate.
way to Srila Prabhupada and to the
Sure Mate.
Maharaj. Yeah, I'll make you host, Prabhuji.
Sure Mate. No problem. Thank you so much, Mate. Yeah. Who did the translations today?
Achyut Prabhuji.
Achut Prabhu. Okay. Thank you so much, Achut Prabhuji, for reading the translations. Thank you for being a regular member of this group. Also, you join regularly and hear the Bhagavatam. So, I had another class. So, devotees had some questions. That's why I took a little bit longer to join this session. Sorry about that. So, we'll offer brief prayers and we'll continue. Om Ajnanatam Gnana Shalakaya Cheksh Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Sarsarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so nice section. We are on ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, Good thing about today's class is there's nothing new you're learning in terms of the storyline. So very little storyline changes. Basically, last two sessions you heard from devotees already about the. Before I go there, maybe I'll share something. So overall, ninth canto context is that we are hearing about Moon Dynasty, Sun Dynasty, and Moon Dynasty. Those are the two things we are hearing in the ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we already finished hearing about the Sun Dynasty, where we heard about Ramachandra also. Now we are hearing the Moon Dynasty kingdom, different kings in the Moon Dynasty, right? So in that, we are now last chapter, and this chapter we're focusing on King Yayati's pastime. So King Yayati, so I'll give you a broad brush of a high level view, and then we'll go into details. Very high level view was we heard about how King Yayati, um, I'm keeping it very, very high level. King Yayati was engaged in sense gratification, and how he lost his masculinity, and then he recovered it by the help of his son, and then finally he continued engaging in the chapters summarize how King Yayati was fully engrossed in sense gratification and forgot about doing bhakti, to wow, what am I doing? Let me go back to bhakti. I'll perform bhakti and I'll go back to Godhead. So that is what these two chapters are giving at a high level view for us. Yeah. So now in the last chapter, we already heard about all the details. It's a little complicated storyline. Yayati marries Devyani, and then there's a maid servant called Sharmishta. We heard about all the details about Devyani and Sharmishta, how they were fighted because of the anger, and it went so far, like that we heard. So finally, in this chapter, what is happening is a light bulb goes on in Yayati. First, I'll tell the storyline, then we'll go into deeper themes of this session today. Okay, we're covering the first 12 verses of this chapter today. So, the storyline is King Yayati already from the last chapter. And then after he got back to youth, he started enjoying again with his wife, Devyani. And then uh, not only enjoying, but he forgot the purpose of life. That purpose of life is for self-realization. Now in this chapter, the light bulb goes on for him. Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm spending all my life trying to enjoy only. But then I forgot my purpose of life itself. That light bulb goes on. And that light bulb goes on. So he tells his wife that point in terms of a fable. He goat and she goat. Actually, the he goat is talking about is himself. The she goat that he married is talking about Devyani only. And he talks about a third, another she goat, second she goat. That's about Sharmishta. So through this storyline, he tells how his life went in a quick format like that. And then goes into and tells her importance of self-realization basically. So we'll go to that section now. A little bit more detail. Here, the chapter title is King Yati Achieves Liberation. Generally, the way the chapters are titled by Sri Prabhupada is that the most prominent thing in the chapter is covered as a title of the chapter. Not necessarily that's the only thing covered in the chapter. So before he got liberation, what did he do? How did he get liberation? Is what we are hearing now. So, uh, so the chapter starts with Sukadeva Goswami describing to Parishit Maharaj, um, Yayati became disgusted with sexual enjoyment and the bad effects of it. So he renounced that way of life and narrated the story to his wife Devyani. That's how this is starting. Interesting thing, this periodic reminders that Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parishit Maharaj is important for us. Why is important? Because the die in 7 days. So I don't know how many days are passed by the time he came to ninth canto. Probably several days have passed. So, but he has a short time to live before he gives up this body. So that's the context is important. So in that context, why is Sukadeva Goswami telling about this story? How this king enjoyed so much sensually. This king enjoyed so much sensually. So if you notice, the conclusion of each of the story goes like this. Somebody is so much attached to being a man. So he lost his manhood itself. Somebody is so much feeling proud of his kingship. He lost his kingship. Somebody is proud of so much proud of his asceticism, like Shobari Muni, but he lost his asceticism in a minute. So like that, all these things that we think, I am a great rich person, I am a knowledgeable person, oh, I have great ascetic power. All these things can be are temporary and can be lost at any time. That understanding and knowledge and realization is very important for a devotee to taking complete shelter of Krishna. So all these pastimes that we are hearing are telling us everything that we probably aim for material satisfaction, material enjoyment, are all temporary and they will cause misery. First point is they're temporary. Second point is they're cause misery. And third thing is they are obstacle for our progress in devotional service like that. So similarly, through Yayati pastime, we are learning. He enjoyed so much for so many years, but still he was not satisfied. Still, he got disgusted with it. So instead, he turned to the right path of practicing bhakti and moving towards liberation like that. So that is the principle we are learning from this pastime. That is the importance of uh, pastime in Parishit, in Sukadeva Goswami Parishit context. Other principle to remember is this is all being described just before describing the Krishna's sweet pastimes in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So before we reach the ultimate sweet pastimes like that and sweet relationship with Krishna, we should be careful to be not materially attached like this. We should be develop some material attachment towards positions, even material designations we have like that. That is what being taught for us in the 9th canto for us now. So now going to from second verse onwards. Now Yayati is telling to Devyani. Devyani is daughter of Sukracharya now. He's telling, I, uh, I will narrate the history of there is somebody who is exactly like me. I will tell you story about them. Like that he's telling. And then he's saying, by hearing the life of such a householder, such a grihastha, some married person, um, even those who are retired from family life, those who are in Vanaprastha ashram, sannyas life, they always lament, oh my God, lament like that is describing. So then he starts to describe the storyline with the example of goats, but he's telling his own life story. Again, we discussed this some time ago, but I will reiterate that point. How are stories helpful sometimes? So let us say somebody tells us, oh, my dear Sundarananda, you are so attached to sense gratification. You should give away sense gratification. It is not good for you. It's causing so many harms to you. Then that direct instruction, I may not take it so properly, nicely, and heartfully. But if somebody tells, oh, there used to be a he goat, there used to be a she goat, and like that, then it's the third person now. When storyline is about third person, then we pay attention easily and we observe the lesson from that story. But if somebody tells me directly, in so many cases, it doesn't go sink in directly. That doesn't mean there is no place for giving direct instruction. That's why stories are powerful. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is powerful. Through the pastime of Vyayati Maharaj, we are learning how sense gratification is harmful for us, how sense gratification is not the ultimate goal of life, how our goal of life practice is important, like that. So now he's telling there used to be a he goat. He goat was wandering around looking for sense gratification. How can I enjoy like this? Where can I get some grass to enjoy? Where can I get some grass to enjoy? Like that, he is looking for a different sense gratification. And then he finally saw a she goat fell in a well. Remember in the past time that we heard yesterday, last two sessions, we heard about how Devyani was in a dark well because Sharmishta pushed out of anger, we heard. Similarly, he's telling exactly same story like a third person because that gives detachment, that gives opportunity to absorb it into the heart, like that. Yeah. So now the he goat was looking for different sense enjoyment. So, and then finally he saw a she goat, and the she goat was very helpless. So similarly, Devyani was helpless earlier. So how is he helpless? Having fallen into influence of fruitive activities. So this is another important principle. That means normally uh, many people in the world, including myself, always looking for what is there in what is in it for me. How can I enjoy in this situation? How can I enjoy from this person? What can this person give me? That is the focus we have. Similarly, if somebody is engaged in Vedic ceremonies also, they are engaged in what can I get out of this yagna? Then only I'll do yagna, like that. So that's why karmakanda practices are recommended in Vedas. So for people who are too attached for sense gratification, at least they will turn towards scriptures, they will turn towards brahmanas, so that they're taking a gradual purification path. Of course, for us, we take directly to the bhakti, so we don't have to go to the gradual process like that. So somebody is bewildered by those activities, they think that is the best thing in life, that is the goal of life, like that. Just do yagna and enjoy life, like that. So then it's described that he goat was planning how to save this she goat, and that he goat made lot of endeavor. Uh, what kind of endeavor? She dug some earth near the edge of the well, it seems, and then finally the he goat was able to take out the she goat. So here the principle being shared by Srila Prabhupada in our purport is that when a male is attracted with lust towards a female, then they do all sorts of endeavor, labor, lots of labor to satisfy their lust with that female, like that. So that is the principle Prabhupada is sharing in the purport. So what that means, Prabhupada is talking about how generally in this world, lust is driving everything for people because they want to enjoy with that other opposite partner. They do all sorts of things. They gain more wealth, they gain more position, they they get more possessions like nice home, all those things, to attract the opposite party, to maintain the opposite party, to continue enjoy with the opposite party. They need to endeavor so many ways, like that. So that endeavor is being done actually, like that is described here in this section. Now the she goat is protected, but now both the she goat and the is described here. The she goats were very attractive, and she goat desired to accept he goat as her husband. So um, why? Because the he goat was very beautiful in his body, it seems, and also on what he can do with his body. So the similarly, here we remember in the original pastime we heard last two sessions, we already heard about how Devyani was attracted to um, what is his name? King Yayati, like that. So basically the idea was, there are two principles there we heard in the last chapter already. One is, it's a religious principle that a woman, when a man touches a woman, then is that person needs to become the husband. Nobody other than a husband should touch a woman like that. That's one principle we heard. Second principle we heard was, both of them were attracted to each other, we heard also. So similarly, here also is being described, the she goat was attracted to he goat, and then she asked for marriage. So, and then they both got married, and they both enjoyed for a long time, forgetting his business of self-realization. That's the key principle he's trying to share. That means, with the help of the goat story, he's saying the he goat got lost in enjoying with the she goat and forgot the main principle of life, main goal of life itself. So that is what is being described in this particular verse. Then continuing on, so that was going on for some time. But then, however, the twist came in the storyline when there's a second she goat that came. So the he goat, the second she goat got attracted to he goat, and the he goat was enjoying with the second she goat now also. So that that was not pleasing, that was not appealing to the first she goat, who is the wife. We know from the last chapter we heard, this is talking about the first she goat is the Devyani, second she goat is the Sharmishta, who was the maid servant. So you probably heard a lot about this subject already, so I'll not dwell into it. So essentially, same storyline is telling. The first she goat Devyani got mad that this relationship is going on. So the first she goat goes to the previous maintainer, is described. Previous maintainer is her father. For a woman, first maintainer or protector is father, next is her husband, after that is her elder son, like that. So similarly, here Devyani went back to her father like that. She goat went back to her previous maintainer Brahmana, and then complained about the he goat, and then the Brahmana maintainer of the she goat punished the he goat so that he cannot engage in sexual activity anymore with the anyone at all now. But then later the Brahmana realized, oh, my daughter is also married, my she goat is also married to the he goat. So how can this he goat satisfy my she goat, my daughter itself? So he gives back the benediction that he can take the youth back, like that. This is all telling the same story we heard last chapter, but in the form of he goat and she goat. So then, uh, so the benediction is given again. So then again, the he goat keeps enjoying with the first she goat, the wife she goat only keeps on going on like that. That's so life is passing away. And then finally, that he goat gets disgusted with that continues with enjoyment, because now he realized he forgot his goal of life, he forgot his practice of self-realization. So now he wants to, uh, and is not satisfied also. So he wants to take a turn in this life now. Now the turn in this life is, he wants to take up self-realization again. That is the overall storyline between the first 12 verses. Essentially, what we heard is nothing but recap of the story we heard in the last chapter, past time in the last chapter, where King Yayati was enjoying with Devyani for some time, and then Sharbishta with some time, and then finally King Yayati was disgusted because he's not satisfied. This experience is not helping him in fully satisfying himself, and he wanted to turn back to self-realization, which is the goal of life. So that whole thing it explained in the terms of he goat and she goat. Now we come to few themes that Prabhupada is focusing in the purports, in this purports. Two main themes Prabhupada focuses in the purport are how women should be always protected, and then second theme Prabhupada focuses in how we should always continue in marriage life for till the end of the life. We should take to from Grihastha ashram, we should graduate to Vanaprastha ashram. These are the two broad themes Prabhupada is talking about. And these are very important for us as practicing devotees to understand properly. So number one, we'll talk about the first theme about how women always needs protection. In fact, one of the purpose Prabhupada talks about in this section, women should not have independence at any point in life. Such a statement also Prabhupada makes in one of the purports. And we should understand these statements maturely. So we'll talk about this women protection first, and then we'll go to Vanaprastha Ashram briefly. I'll take another few minutes to conclude this section because these themes are important more than the storyline. Prabhupada wanted to understand the philosophy, tattva, more than the storyline from Srimad Bhagavatam. Otherwise, some devotees just read the translations. That's not helpful. We should read the purports and learn from Prabhupada, a pure devotee like Prabhupada. So now, focusing on women's protection. Women naturally, so by the way, this is a very broad topic. I'm condensing it to a few highlights only, very simple for today's session because of the time. So women by nature are emotionally inclined and they're full of emotions. And women by nature value deep relationships, not just transaction. You do this for me, I will do this for me. Their men are usually like that. Many men are usually like that. Whenever I'm telling men, women like this, there are always exceptions. But I'm giving you general view that Vedic scriptures tell us, which is true. So women women like deep relationships, whereas men, I want this from you, you give me. I want this from you, you give me. I will give you this to you. Done. That's how generally men are transactional in nature. Most. Then women need deep relationships. Now, this nature of women to engage in deep relationships, to get nourished with relationships, should be satisfied with proper protection in good relationships that have that can give shelter. So, in childhood, we need to give shelter to our daughters so that they are protected and they engage in deep relationship with parents like that. So then, what does that mean? Uh, that is one important principle. I'll go to the positive side and go to the negative side. Similarly, husband needs to give protection to women by engaging in proper relationship with a wife, by giving her physical protection, mental or emotional protection, and also spiritual protection also. So that means husband should be trained properly. Husband should grow up properly, spiritually and mature to be able to offer such kind of protection to the wife also. So that's the second aspect. So basically, as a father, as a husband, we need to give protection to the woman, whether it's a daughter or a wife, in terms of physical, emotional, and spiritual levels. That is the principle. Once we give that, the women are nourished and happy in that protection, and they're not seeking independence of sorts. I want to enjoy this way, I want to go with this one like that. They don't have to do that. But when the father or husband are not mature and trained to take care of women nicely, then what happens is, because they lack that protection coming from the proper place that is supposed to come, there are people who try to cheat the woman, who try to take advantage of the woman for their own enjoyment in some way or other. So that is why it's recommended in Vedic scriptures to protect the woman, to shelter them, to give them nourishing relationships and nourishing engagements so that they're not taken advantage by other people who usually have um, tendency to want to exploit women. So that is the protection we're talking about here from Vedic culture. So that's the first aspect. So that means women also, there are two things here. One is men should be trained and mature to be able to offer protection, and women should be mature and to be under the shelter of a proper protection giving husband or father also. Both are required. Yeah, that's one principle we are learning from this section. Now, next theme we're talking about is the Vanaprastha Ashram. So, um, I'm purposefully not going into another direction, which is next section. You learn about the um, miseries of sense gratification, too much sense gratification without focusing on the purpose of life in the next section. That is the relations that this King Yati shares to Devyan in the next section. So that's why I'm not going to that section now, but I'm going to Vanapastha theme that Prabhupada is focusing fully on this section. Of course, otherwise we could talk on that also. So the idea is that our human life is very, very, very valuable. And valuable to do what? To eat nice foods, nice sweets, to see nice things, to hear nice things, to touch nice things? No. Our human life is very, very valuable because we got a higher intelligence so that we can make a permanent plan to be eternally happy. And that happiness keeps on increasing. We have a opportunity to get that eternal happiness and ever-growing happiness, and which is possible only when we are engaged in the service of Supreme Lord Krishna. So when we understand that, we make that as our ultimate goal of life, and then not get distracted with this kind of sense enjoyment, that kind of sense enjoyment, this kind of sense enjoyment, this kind of distractor activity, this kind of distraction activity, like that, because most of our time on achieving this purpose of our life, which is Krishna Prema, to achieve Krishna's relationship. So we keep focused our time, energy, and enthusiasm towards that goal and not get distracted by anything else. But currently, we made some choice. We did not remain brahmachari. We made a choice to get married and become a gruhastha. Now, in this gruhastha life, our goal is not to not have a license. Now I got a license to enjoy, so I'll enjoy it to the maximum. That's not the goal of life. Our goal of life is still to get to the pure devotion service to Krishna. And to get there, husband and wife work together to support each other, to uh, to continue devotional practices, to continue growth in our consciousness, to go towards Krishna. And to do that, we support each other physically, mentally, emotionally, and then spiritually, with the ultimate goal of both of us growing in our spiritual life towards Krishna, like that. That is the essential practice we are doing in our married life also. What that means is we should not get overwhelmed with family duties and only take care of families and forget about Krishna. Instead, we should take care of our family duties as a service to Krishna, and we should grow as a family together towards Krishna. That means we should have some time set aside for doing our sadhana every day. We should have some time set aside for association every day or every week as our situation permits. And then we should have time for some service every day or every week as our time permits. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu uses the words sadhana, sangha, seva as the three critical elements that we need to make sure as practicing devotees we have in our life as focus. So when we do these three things, we can grow in our life nicely. Sometimes some devotees get overwhelmed with family duties and leave the sadhana aside, seva aside, and association sangha aside. That is not going to sustain us towards growing towards our ultimate goal. We should be focused on our sadhana, sangha, and seva while we are in married life, while we are taking care of our wife and husband, while we are taking care of children nicely, more nicely than the non-devotees, because we want to please Krishna by taking care of them nicely, but not at the cost of our sadhana and seva. We should balance in such a way that both are taken care of nicely. That is one main principle we can learn from this section. Now going to the original theme I wanted to talk about, which is Vanaprastha. That also means just because we are in family life, we have certain obligations. Oh, my friend's birthday party, my friend's daughter's birthday party, my 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 mother's sister's son's birthday party, my father's brother's son's marriage party. All these obligations are there for us. So that will take away our time, energy, and enthusiasm. So at one point of the time, according to Vedic scriptures, at 50 years of age, I'm 50 years by the way, we are meant to take from Grihastha ashram to Vanaprastha ashram. So that means we are meant to not continue the same story that we've been doing, spending a lot of time in family life, little time in devotional life. The picture should change. Most of the time is devotional life like that. That's where we need to get to. In the olden days, that used to happen by going to the forest, and in the current days, it can be, there are different models of how we can do Vanaprastha. For example, I'll quickly mention one of the model is stay in a holy place and then do devotional service most of the time. We can stay with husband and wife, can stay together, but no sex life anymore. But do engage in devotional service 90% of the day, basically. Most of the day is gone for devotional service only. Second model is go to a place where there are a lot of devotees staying near the temple and then practice devotion service with them. Second model. Third model is wherever we have an opportunity to do service, stay there, but dedicate most of the time for devotion service. What that means, I don't keep on doing job at 70 years of age, 55 years of age, 60 years of age, like that. So we need to transition to that phase from not doing job, from doing job to not doing job, and doing most of the service, most of the time is devotion service. The principle is most of the time energy is spent on devotion service. That is the principle. How we do it is models can be chosen with the guidance of our guru, basically spiritual master. So, but to do that at 50 years of age, for example, I did not know this principle earlier. I did not plan ahead for this practice earlier. I did not prepare earlier to start Vanaprastha 50 years of age. So, for example, my personal goal is around 55 years of age to do that. But each of us life is different. Each of us situations are different. But the principle is still the same, that we need to dedicate most of our life's time towards devotion service. That is the principle to capture. So we need to prepare for that stage of life. How do we prepare for that stage of life? I'll take 1 or 2 minutes only. How do we prepare that for that stage of life? Two broad principles. One principle is we do our stradhana very nicely now. So we develop taste for devotion service. At least 1 or 2 limbs of devotion service, we get the taste nicely. Whether it's chanting, hearing, reading, deity worship, whatever we have. That way, let us say when I get to 1% stage and I'm not doing 8 hours of office work anymore, I should be able to do 5 or 6 hours of that time on the devotion service nicely. Oh, instead of that, oh my God, I cannot chant anymore. I cannot hear anymore. What to do? I'll just sleep. Not like that. You should develop taste for one devotional activity at least. By the time we go to Vanaprastha, number one. Number two, when we go to Vanaprastha, we need to be financially stable and independent. So we don't have to work again, and again, like that. That means we save enough money now, not spend too much money, but save enough money. So we have money left for Vanaprastha time. So we can, instead of focusing on doing job also and devotion service also at 55 or 60 years age, we do our devotion service nicely at that time. So that is what we need to do. Second thing. Third thing. So we talked about do sadhana nicely. So we develop devotional taste of at least 1 limb of devotion service. Second is we develop financial independence so we can sustain ourselves without doing job at retirement age. Third principle is develop some taste for some service so we can continue doing that service when after retiring. So the 8 hours of office work that we are not able to do, we can split it into our sadhana and our seva, like that. So we should have some taste for some service we can do. So when we do this, this is the preparatory work we need to do now. And of course, most important thing that is underlying all this is we need to cultivate mode of goodness through devotion service. So it's easier to sit at one place and do something. Otherwise, we are in mode of passion and goodness. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Like that only will go. So mode of goodness also need to be cultivated. Sorry, I took a lot of time today. I got a little late also. Hope this was meaningful for you. So we'll pause here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, here the self-realization is Bhakti, Prabhuji, the goat story.
Yeah, self-realization leads to God realization. Mataji. Self-realization means first knowing that I'm a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I'm servant of Krishna, like that. Once we understand that, what do? I'm servant of Krishna, so I need to serve Krishna. That is a bhakti, Mate. Yes.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Welcome, Mate.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Om, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.